Big deals and big moves are constantly being made. Weary Wednesday, folks. Welcome in, quick hitters. Welcome in, G.Mo Short Crew. And what we have here is the Houston Rockets making big moves. They put their chips right in the middle of the table this offseason. Won the offseason with a big pickup of Kevin Durant. It didn't stop there. They're filling this roster out. As you see, DFS, Dorian Finney-Smith, basically you could say replacing Dylan Brooks. We were all sad to see him go, but putting in a DFS in his spot, you're not losing anything, gaining, possibly. He's bigger, more flexible. I don't know if he's a better shooter. We'll find that out when the season starts, but he can knock down the three. But he can chase these little guards around. He might not be as strong and bulky as a Dylan Brooks, but he might be just as serviceable. And who would have thought this team will load up on the back end, putting a third legit center on this roster? Guess who's coming back? CC, known as Clint Capella. I'm glad to see the man back. It was questionable when he left the first time. They had to do what they had to do. They pulled him back from Atlanta. Big man in the middle, can block shots. Not only block shots, but he's a rim runner. Lob threat. Can move his feet as well. I done seen him guard smaller players on the perimeter. With a roster like this, putting KD on your roster, everybody wants to join in. Everybody want to jump on that ship, headed for a championship. They made it very flexible with these cut short extensions. Fred VanVleet deciding to go 25 for each year for 2 years was huge. We're going to see what KD is going to do. Tari Eason still not signed yet. We got Jabari Smith on a good deal, $22 million. But the news here lately is Cam Whitmore. I seen the writing on the wall as well. He's not a favorite of 𝐃𝐻𝐿. And I kind of figured this. Look, the guy's talented. I want him to stay on the team. But I don't know if there's any room for him. Or 𝐃𝐻𝐿 just sold him off already. He can't work with him. It's inside stuff that we don't even know. Just me watching him play the game. He don't play with his hair on fire. He don't look like a guy that hustles. He don't even look like a guy who hustles in practice. He could be coming up short on drills, not going all out. It's a lot of things that could be happening with Cam Whitmore. It's a sad song, it really is, because this guy has a lot of promise coming out. Talented as hell. He just haven't had a realistic opportunity. In my opinion, far as just getting the consistent minutes. He's played, but he hasn't gotten consistent minutes. He hasn't been allowed to make mistakes, so to speak, throughout a game. Sometimes young players need that. And with this roster, it probably didn't fit the bill for him. So it looked like they're going to turn in a different direction if they find somebody who's willing to trade. I don't think we're going to get anything good back for Cam Whitmore. Late draft pick, second round, who knows? But if he does leave, I hope he has an opportunity to either start, play at least 25 to 30 minutes a game. Because I think he needs the opportunity to prove that he belongs in this league. And if it's not on the Rockets, let it be with somebody else. I love to see him go to the Miami Heat. They're terrible this offseason. Not making any legit moves that's going to put them deep into a playoff. They need scoring. They got a lot of young players over there. Cam Whitmore, the way they are constructed right now, it seems like Cam Whitmore can get some serious playing time down there in Miami. If I'm Miami, I'm looking at that. It could be a lot of teams that could use a young player like Cam Whitmore, but I would like to see him in Miami. So it's unfortunate if we have to say goodbye to Cam Whitmore. On this athletic, talented, driven roster, deep roster, I think the time ran out on Cam Whitmore. The patience is not there. Who would have thought? Jalen Green's gone. Now Cam Whitmore is on the brink. Houston stacked. When you can let guys like that go, that means you're loading up on some talent. And talent it is for that starting five going real deep. I'm talking about 10 to 15 strong right now. This team is championship ready across the board. Glad for these additions. Houston don't have to make another move to be considered very high on a championship chart going into next season. Would I like another move? Of course. I would like another scoring guard. Another guy that was out there that I wish Houston could have picked up that went to New York is that Jordan Clarkson. Oh, my goodness. You get a guy like that coming off the bench, you talk about pure D firepower. Knicks got them a good jewel. They got them a good jewel down there in New York. They piecing it together, looking to bring Mike Brown in for head coach. I like that. I like it a lot. Now, I'd have loved to see Mark Jackson get an opportunity besides that. But yeah, they might have just completely gave up and just blackballed him out. Mark Jackson is what I'm believing. This guy's a good coach that just didn't get an opportunity again from Golden State. So the only reason behind that is he just being blackballed. They don't like his philosophies or his religion, something. I don't know what it is, but they don't want that guy head coaching any franchise. And it's sad. But anyway, we got a lot of players on the move. We're going to take a look at it here. Signings and extensions. What about Miles Turner? Who's seen that coming with Miles Turner? He agreed to a 4-year, $107 million deal with Milwaukee. Who would have thought? Indiana player Miles Turner is going to a rival, Milwaukee Bucks. It's a shame how Indiana couldn't get something done. There's no way Miles Turner should have been leaving that city. Now, you want to look at the playoffs. You want to look at the championship.
Playoffs? Don't talk about it. Playoffs?
Playoffs, overall, he did well. They might want to be looking at that finals. Didn't play too well. But is that a reason to really indict this man? But like everybody is saying, would they have done this if Halliburton would have never got injured? I think that's what propelled it. It makes sense. Halliburton never gets hurt. I don't see Miles Turner leaving. Not happening. They had to make some moves. Him having a bad finals, they couldn't buy all the way in on him. He kind of disappeared. Hey, Hallie's out for the whole next season. Let's make a move. And they did that. But the biggest shocker is Milwaukee making room to add Miles Turner by waiving Damian Lillard. Oh, man. That was a surprise to a lot of people. But I'm going to tell you what. Damian Lillard got a smooth deal out of that one. Man is still going to be getting paid $22 million for 5 seasons. Imagine that. Rehabbing, getting back, basically taking a year off. They say possibly all-star break, playoffs, he can be back. That's no guarantee. If he does, great. But get to choose what team he's going to once he's rehabbed and got back fully healthy. Can't get no better deal than that. Can't get no better deal than that. But was it enough to keep Giannis there? We're going to find out. It might be for at least one more season. But if I'm Giannis, man, I'm looking at this thing and I'm saying, I'm going to have to say farewell. Sooner or later, and I might as well do it now. Will they be serviceable a little bit? Yeah, next season. They still got a good roster with a few scorers out there, some defenders. But contending when everybody else made major moves, I don't see Milwaukee coming out of this thing on top in the East or compete for a championship. They'll be lucky to make the playoffs. And God forbid if they have a roadblock for injury or something like that happens, they'll be completely off the map. Nobody's thinking about them. So Giannis really need to think about this coming in this season. This could be another year gone and lost for him. He's just going to have to come to the realization that he's going to have to leave Milwaukee sooner or later. I don't see a big splash coming to that team anytime soon. So Damian Lillard, hey man, rehab, get ready. Favorite of mine. Wanted to have you in Miami a season or so ago, but hey, it didn't work out. Didn't work out. Maybe now you could get to Miami where you originally wanted to go. If not, you hear little whispers about the Rockets is a possibility. But I'm not real big on the Houston Rockets just getting star heavy, just getting all these name brand guys and piling them up on one team. Reminds you of the Washington used to be Redskins, but now Commanders. They loaded up and spent a lot of money on all that talent and came away with nothing. So I don't want to be top heavy on superstars either. It don't make sense. Don't mean you're going to win anything because you got all these name brand guys around. What you need to do is keep what you have right now. KD is enough with an up-and-coming Amen Thompson, right? You got Jabari Smith stepping into his own. You got these key players you done picked up, these specialists. DFS. Capella on the back end. Still got Adams. You still got your floor general. Yeah, man, it's time to run it. Şengün down low. Everybody coming into next season should have gotten a little bit better. Damian Lillard, I'm kind of okay with that because he's not going to come back and have a major role anyway. He's still going to be trying to get back to himself. He can play spot minutes, spot up shooter. Once that Fred VanVleet contract started to expire and you want to figure out some things, hey, Damian Lillard could be starting point guard. Who knows? In 2 years, who knows? So the Rockets are loaded up. They're loaded up. They made moves. Raphael Stone is not playing any games. I like his willing and dealing. They giving Emu Doka all the power over there, decide who stays and who goes and what he wants. And Cam Whitmore looks like he's on the outside looking in. Unfortunate, but I wish him the best as well. All that talent, man, I just wish he could turn it around. He only had 2 years. Like I say, it's not a big opportunity that he had. It just, Houston is just at the point that they can't be patient. They can't wait 3 to 4 or 5 years for a guy to turn around or to turn into his own. They can't wait on that. Duncan Robinson, no longer a Miami Heat. Finally parted ways. Headed to Detroit Pistons. I do like that for Detroit. Detroit's coming, man, all these teams that was on the back end a few years ago are at the cream of the crop now, battling in the playoffs each year. They're one of them. Miami Heat sniper is finally gone out the building, but it's okay. Because like I say, they got to rebuild this thing from the ground up now. Yeah, you got Bam Adebayo. You got all these young players around him. Still pieces to be made and to be had. That's why I don't see why Cam Whitmore would be a bad option. Still in the air. We'll see what happens. Who will pick him up? Who will make that trade? SGA extended his contract with the Oklahoma City Thunder. Tim Hardaway Jr. Tough to see him leave Detroit. It is. But now he's going to have a legitimate chance to win an NBA championship going to the Denver Nuggets. That's a big pickup for them. Dennis Schroeder is on the move again. How many teams have Dennis Schroeder played for? Huh? 25 in his career? He signed with the Sacramento Kings. They could use him. But only good thing about that with Dennis Schroeder, they know they're getting a good player. That's why he's lasted so long in the league. That's why all these teams wanted him. That's the positive side to look at it. But why can't he just find a home where he just stays put? Nobody can figure that out. But the great thing of all of it, he's a wanted man. You can't bypass that. Trey Mann. He agreed to a new deal with the Charlotte Hornets. James Harden. When I saw this, man, I was like, you got to be kidding me. Because I told you I would have sent him out of town, him and Kawhi Leonard. I'm building this thing fresh. But you know what? Got that new arena. They want to sell tickets. They got to keep Harden there. They got to keep Kawhi there. They don't care how many times they fail in the playoffs. Come up short, choke. They don't care. That's their problem. But James Harden will re-sign with the Los Angeles Clippers. Crazy, but he's re-signing. The notable players that's still available, of course, Damian Lillard. You got Josh Giddey, a restricted free agent. Jonathan Kuminga, that's another player that I want the Heat to get. Think about this. If the Miami Heat could get Jonathan Kuminga and Cam Whitmore with the young talent they already have over there with Bam Adebayo, Tyler Hero, huh? You're going to have to come off a little something, but not much. Man, the Heat can patch this thing together. They can patch it together. Cam Thomas, he's a restricted free agent. Quentin Grimes, that's another guy that, oh man, the Rockets could have found a way to pick that guy up. Man, he torched the Rockets. This guy here is just, woo, hot. Hell of a player. Like Quentin Grimes. DeAndre Ayton. He's expected to be a Laker, I'm pretty sure. Not really what they want, but hey. Got Al Horford. He's out there. Chris Paul. Got to make a decision. Will he go to the Milwaukee Bucks? Late in his career, he's on the move. So that's on the latest. Moves being made every day now. Breaking news hitting all over the screen. As I'm talking, things could be happening. Let's see what everybody else is saying around the league about some of these trades. Let's take a listen.
Leading up to the start of free agency, we knew Dorian Finney-Smith was being singled out by the Houston Rockets. I didn't know, me personally, I didn't know at the time how much fight the Lakers were going to put in. But as we talked, and I think Ryan put it the best way. You look at the options, you look at them adding DeAndre Ayton or another center to the equation, then that left out the likelihood that Dorian Finney-Smith was going to have to part ways with the Lakers, and that's what happened. He ends up with the Houston Rockets on a 4-year deal worth $53 million.
Dorian Finney-Smith, 4 years, $53 million value here. What do you have it, Ryan?
A really good value. That looks like most, but not all of the non-taxpayer mid-level. I had the 4-year, about $60 million was the max on the non-taxpayer mid-level, but I really like the fit. And we mentioned earlier in the show the defensive impact Dorian Finney-Smith had when he got traded from the Brooklyn Nets. So free agency just started 34 minutes ago, Chris, but for me, the Houston Rockets are the winners so far.
You just gave us our next topic, all right? Because we just heard Ryan say Houston Rockets, best off-season so far in the NBA.
You could maybe make an argument for Dallas, but yeah, I would say so. I mean, this is a team that was a 2 seed a season ago, and you go and get one of the best scorers in the history of the game. You go get one of the better defenders in the game in Dorian Finney-Smith, and a guy who can really, and you talked about it, he went to a Lakers team that was not a good defensive team and helped to completely revamp them second half of the season. So he could have a significant impact there. And he's also a guy that can shoot the three. So, I think it's been really good for them. They've also cleared up opportunities for some of their young guys that didn't necessarily get a lot of opportunities a season ago to maybe find themselves in that rotation.
And I agree. So he can shoot a little bit. I didn't watch a lot of Lakers games last season, but I've seen a handful of them, and I've seen Dorian Finney-Smith knock down some threes when he was open, on a swing or off a double team. So he can't knock down that shot. And once again, he mentioned these younger players that didn't get a lot of opportunity last season for his minutes, they're going to be called upon. The Jabari Smiths, those guys playing more minutes, having more opportunity in the offense. So yeah, these young players now are going to be able to showcase their talents on the biggest stage because these guys here are going to be on prime time. When you get a KD on your team, right, and making all these big moves, wait till that schedule comes out. Rockets going to be prime time. All the time. TNT, ABC, Christmas, Thanksgiving, Valentine's Day, President's Day, Easter. Shit, probably on Cinco de Mayo. So watch out. We're going to keep going around, seeing what a lot has to be said about these free agent moves.
Free agency, of course, and everybody trying to figure out what their roster is going to look like. And the first thing that the Lakers had to figure out was just what's going to happen with LeBron. Is he going to opt into his player option for this season for his record 23rd season? And reportedly, he has done so, James. So it was likely that was going to happen, but what did you make of that, and kind of how does that shape what comes next for the Los Angeles Lakers?
Well, you know, LeBron wants to win. I think he wants to try to win. I don't know how many more years he's going to play. Is this his final year? Who knows? But LeBron is still valuable, and along with Luka, that's got to be very attractive for players who want.
When you're on the Los Angeles Lakers team, every year is going for a championship. They're not in rebuilding. They have Lou Doncic on their team. Luka Doncic, the Don. You think they're going to wait 5-6 years to actually compete and want to build this roster? No, man, they're going for it now. LeBron James knows that. But he has to ruffle feathers like he do all the time at the end of a contract. Just to let them know, hey, I could leave. And I would say, bye. That's exactly what I would say. So he just lost control. Can't do too much but sit back, whine and complain, have his agent try to scare people. That's all this is about. LeBron James not going anywhere. And he's not going to win a damn thing either. So he just needs to sit back, relax. It's Lou Doncic's show now. Build around him, and all you can do is just add what you could add to the team. Stop trying to be the man, facilitate, get guys in the right spots, put the ball in Lou Doncic's hands, and let him carry you home. Hopefully he's getting in shape. From what I'm hearing, he's trying to get in shape because he has to get in tip-top shape if he's going to carry y'all down the end of games and be available. Yes, keep adding. You need a big man. We all know that. I don't know if Ayton is the answer, but it's something.
To play with guys who know how to win. So, yeah, it's good to see that he opts in. It's going to be interesting to see what happens next year. If, it's 23rd year and he's healthy, he might want to go out healthy, retire healthy. But we don't know. If this is last year, by opting in, Brez, it's tough one to think about.
Yeah, not surprised that he's coming back to the Lakers, okay? Some people were like, oh, maybe he's going to opt out and go somewhere else. No, I mean, you leave $53 million on the table if you opt out. That is available, let me check my notes real quick, nowhere on any NBA team. No one has that type of cap space to sign LeBron James. So no doubt he was going to opt in. And James, to your point, the last few years, LeBron has basically been doing, okay, I'll come back for it. I'm going to opt in. And why don't you guys tack on another year on top of that? This year, there was a little stop sign on that. He's just coming back for one more year. Will this be his last season? I mean, Mike, you and I were fortunate to have covered in detail Kobe's last season with the Lakers. God, 9 years ago that ended. That was unbelievable. Wow. And Kobe did not decide for a few weeks into that season. And finally, I think he said, that's it. I'm done.
That is enough of that. Let's see what else is going on.
Evidently, James Dolan and Leon Rose, they believe that this was not enough. The Eastern Conference Finals with the Knicks was not enough. Why Mike Brown? Well, defense was always Tom Thibodeau's calling card, so it doesn't really make all that much sense, like from an offensive mind, why you go with Mike Brown, who's traditionally more of a defensive mind, but Sacramento had some awesome offenses there under his helm.
Yeah.
But again, like if we're going to read the tea leaves here, if LeBron was possibly on...
I'd love to see Mark Jackson get that job, but hey, Mike Brown's not too bad. Will it be better than Tibbs? Possibly. But Mike Brown, he's had his opportunities as well now. He had his opportunities. In Cleveland with LeBron James early on. Sacramento Kings, the most recent, unfairly got canned. So he deserves an opportunity. I don't think it really makes one way or the other with me. I'm not a New York Knicks fan. I always was against the Knicks. All the time. But them getting a coach is crucial. And look like they set their sights on Mike Brown. He's going to be the chosen one and see what happens next season. Hey, if Brunson okay with it, I'm all right with it. He's the one who got a cosign on it. So it ain't my deal.
The market, would he want to reunite with Mike Brown, the guy who helped him get to the 2007 NBA Finals as a 22-year-old? I don't know whether that changes or moves the needle for LeBron.
They're actually thinking about LeBron James going to the Knicks because Mike Brown is there now, reunite with him. I don't see that happening. Like I say, LeBron James is going to be on the Lakers. It's all smoke. He's not going anywhere.
But I do think that from a coaching standpoint, I think Mike Brown is a little bit more highly regarded among players in terms of guys I would play for. So maybe the Knicks think that Mike Brown is a more player-friendly coach who might be easier on the players, more open-minded about certain things, not as rigid in his rotations. And I'm interested to see how this plays out.
You get a guy in Mike Brown who comes from the Greg Popovich coaching tree, who also spent, what was it, like 6 or 7 years on.
That's enough of that story. What else do we have?
Yeah, I mean, look, this is addresses. I don't want to call it a stopgap, but we know Kyrie Irving's going to be out for most of this season, so they value the point guard. They got D'Angelo Russell, got him on the cheap as well. The situation wasn't good out there for the salary landscape, but what are you laughing at, Chris? What's so funny about that?
Major pickup, actually, by the Mavericks. D'Angelo Russell, oh yeah. Kyrie Irving's going to be missing extended time. You want somebody to patch that up for a scoring, you got the man in D'Angelo Russell. No doubt about that. He will go out there and try to get his. He ain't never turned down a shot. And one thing we don't have to ask him, baby, is unload that clip. Now, he might not hit a damn thing, but he will unload it. He won't hit the target, but he will unload it. But great pickup by the Mavericks, no doubt about it.
But Jay, lefty point guard and D'Angelo Russell, they're going to need some ball distribution. And when Kyrie Irving, if he comes back in February or March, how does he fit in with Kyrie on the floor?
Still fits great. I mean, D'Angelo Russell in the right situation is a great player. You know, he's a very efficient player. He's a terrific passer. You know, the one big glaring issue, he's not a great defender, but this is a perfect team for you to be a perimeter guy that isn't a great defender. I mean, they've got the best defensive front line in basketball. And so this is a team that even in the absence of Kyrie, with that signing, they're going to have a chance to contend in that Western Conference. That roster is loaded. And Lively is the guy that's the X factor for me because I think he's got probably the most potential that nobody talks about. You know, he really showed great improvement with his ability to play facing the basket last year. Much improved passer from that free throw line extended. Great screener, rim protection, rim finisher. He's only going to get better. So I'm one of those guys. Even after, if you notice, all the Luka hate in Dallas is kind of dissipated. They're now starting to be forward thinking and forward looking, and there's a lot of optimism for the Dallas Mavericks.
Getting over Luka, or they getting over Luka? I would say a little bit. Cooper Flagg can make that happen. D'Angelo Russell, I don't know, but the roster's loaded. They have hope. Yes, with everybody healthy, they can't contend. They'll be right there in the hunt. So they got to get over that Luka thing where they want to do it or not. He's not coming back. It's old news now. Move on. All you can do now is try to beat the Lakers. Try to come out of this thing clean. The fastest to an NBA championship, Dallas Mavericks or the Lakers. That's how the fans should be looking at it. That's how the players should be looking at it. Who actually going to win this trade? And the only way to find that out is go win an NBA championship. Who the first one going to do that? That's how you put this to bed. We're going to leave it right there. Free agent frenzy. We covered a few things. Couple of moves. Big signings. Who won the free agency? The Houston Rockets. That's how we're going to look at it. And yeah, Atlanta looks good over there too now. We don't want to miss them out. Big pickups for them. Besides, they need to. They need to get back on the map. I'm wishing Trae Young the best over there. This G.S.Q.H. Goodymo Sports Quick Hits. This been the free agent frenzy on a weary Wednesday. I ain't trying to make that rhyme, but it just fell in there. So thanks for y'all time, and we're up out of here. Until another big deal is made or some kind of blockbuster move, we'll be back. But y'all enjoy yourselves, and I appreciate it. We out of here. Peace.